You know, it's funny, isn't it? In this day and age, like, just finding a moment of peace, it feels like almost like a superpower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the constant information overload and notifications and all the chaos of modern life.
Right.
So it's no surprise that so many people are, well, you're looking for ways to bring a little bit more calmness and positivity into your life.
Absolutely.
And you sent over a really fascinating collection of sources about this,
Yeah.
ranging from like, I saw brain studies in there all the way to like cultural practices and things.
Yeah, it's a really, really diverse collection.
Yeah, I mean, we've got neuroscience, psychology, even some really interesting cultural perspectives from different parts of the world. So,
It's going to be a deep dive.
yeah, it's going to be a deep dive for sure.
They get guided.
I was looking through it and I was like, wow, I was surprised to find actual brain studies in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like one of them, it was using fMRI scanning, and it showed that meditation can physically change the structure of the brain. Yeah, that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like feeling calmer, but actually like changing the way our brains work?
Yeah, that's right.
So is that what we're talking about here?
It seems, yeah, like the amygdala, the part of the brain that processes emotions, actually, over time, with regular meditation, actually becomes less reactive.
Wow.
So you can imagine, like, reacting to stressful situations less intensely, having more control over your emotions. Pretty amazing stuff.
It makes you wonder if we can like train our brains to be calmer,
Yeah.
like building a mental muscle or something.
Absolutely, yeah. We can rewire our brains for calmness, and I think a big part of that is understanding how the parasympathetic nervous system, the PNS, works.
Okay.
So this is the system that helps us kind of unwind and recharge.
Right.
When it's activated, things like your heart rate and your blood pressure decrease. You enter a state of relaxation.
Okay, so the PNS is like our inner chill button. But how do we actually activate that? Aside from meditation.
Well, there are a lot of techniques, but one of the most surprising ones you sent over involved cold exposure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently being in 14 degrees Celsius water for just 2 minutes can activate the vagus nerve, which is a key part of the PNS, and increase heart rate variability, or HRV, by 19%.
Wait, hold on. So a cold shower can actually make us more resilient to stress?
It seems that simple, yeah.
That's wild.
So the vagus nerve, it plays a big role in regulating our stress response.
Right.
And HRV is a good indicator of how well we handle stress. So, yeah, a quick cold blast can actually boost your resilience. Always listen to your body, of course. But
Right.
it's fascinating to think that something so simple could have such a significant impact.
Okay, I'm definitely going to have to try that.
Yeah, it's worth experimenting with.
Now, the sources also went beyond just calmness.
Yes.
And they talked a lot about positivity. But it wasn't just about, thinking happy thoughts. There was some real depth there.
Yeah, it goes beyond that fleeting happiness kind of idea, and it examines what allows people to thrive. Things like purpose,
Right.
meaning resilience, how they all contribute to a life that's truly fulfilling. What stood out to you in that area?
Well, the concept of Ikigai really caught my eye. It's a Japanese term that loosely translates to reason for being
Okay.
or finding your purpose. And I was curious, is there actual scientific evidence that having a sense of purpose is actually good for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's research linking Ikigai to longevity
Wow.
and overall well-being. And it's not just about finding something you love. It's about that sweet spot where your passions and your skills
Yeah.
align with what the world needs and what you can be paid for.
Right.
So you could say it's about finding a purpose that's both personally fulfilling
Yeah.
and contributes to something larger than yourself.
So it's not just about passion, but about finding a way to make a real impact.
Exactly.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah, it is.
It makes you wonder, like, how can the listener use this concept of Ikigai to actually bring more meaning into their own life?
That's a great question. And we'll definitely explore practical ways to apply these concepts later on. But first, I think it's time we move on to some of the specific techniques these sources recommend
Okay.
for cultivating calmness and positivity. Would you agree?
Totally. I'm all about getting practical here.
Uh.
We've covered, like, the fascinating science of the calm brain, but let's find out what we can actually do to cultivate more of that inner peace.
Let's do it.
All right, so we've explored the science behind calmness and positivity, and we even touched on that fascinating concept of Ikigai.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, sometimes, like, knowing what to do is easier than actually doing it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, these sources are packed with techniques, but how do we make them stick?
Right.
How do we go from just knowing about this stuff to, like, actually integrating it into our daily lives?
Yeah, you've hit on a crucial point. It's all about habit formation.
Okay.
And luckily, your sources offer some really practical strategies.
Okay, good.
One that caught my eye is habit stacking.
Habit stacking.
Yeah, it's all about attaching a new habit to one you already do consistently.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So think about something simple, like brushing your teeth. You
Right.
do it every day, right?
Every day.
What if you added a 2-minute gratitude practice right after?
Oh,
If you're already there, the habit's already ingrained, it's just about adding a new step
right.
to an existing routine.
That's brilliant. It's like sneaking in good habits while you're on autopilot.
Exactly.
No excuses.
No excuses.
What other habit-forming tricks did the sources mention?
Another one that stood out was optimizing your morning routine.
Okay.
The source actually recommends a very specific routine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it starts with 10 minutes of sunrise viewing,
Sunrise viewing.
followed by 5 minutes of intention setting, and it ends with a 2-minute power pose.
Okay, I have to admit, the sunrise viewing sounds a bit out there.
Yeah.
Is there actual science behind that?
More than you might think.
Okay.
Sunlight, especially in the morning, helps regulate your circadian rhythm,
Right.
which is basically your internal sleep-wake cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like resetting your body's natural clock.
So it's not just about enjoying a pretty sunrise.
Right.
It's about getting your body in sync with nature's rhythm.
Exactly.
Go. I like it.
And then following that with intention setting
Mm-hmm.
helps to prime your mind for the day ahead.
Right.
You know, taking just 5 minutes to reflect on what you want to achieve, how you want to show up,
Yeah.
helps to set a positive tone for everything that follows.
Intention setting, check, but what about the power pose?
Yeah.
Isn't that a bit, well, cheesy?
It might feel a little silly at first,
Yeah.
but the research is quite compelling.
Really?
Yeah, holding a power pose, even for just 2 minutes, can increase testosterone levels by up to 20%. And we know testosterone is linked to confidence and assertiveness.
So a 2-minute pose can boost my confidence.
It can, yeah.
I'm listening.
It's worth a try.
What other techniques can we add to our habit-forming toolkit?
Well, there's one that's deceptively simple but incredibly effective. It's called the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's all about breaking down tasks into manageable chunks.
Okay.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by the thought of like cleaning the entire house,
Right.
tell yourself you're just going to spend 2 minutes cleaning the kitchen counter.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is once you get started, you're more likely to keep going.
Ah, I see. It's a mental trick to overcome inertia.
Exactly.
2 minutes, anyone can do that.
Exactly.
So we've got habit stacking, a power-packed morning routine, and the 2-minute rule. What else can help us make these positive changes stick?
You know, remember, consistency is key.
Right.
It's better to meditate for 5 minutes each day than for an hour once a week.
Right.
The same principle applies to all these techniques.
Makes sense.
Small, consistent efforts over time yield the most sustainable results.
It's about those small steps that build momentum.
Yeah.
Consistency is what turns those actions into habits. But, we've talked a lot about these practices from, like, a Western perspective.
Right.
I'm curious, do other cultures approach calmness and positivity differently?
That's a great question. And your sources offer some fascinating insights into how other cultures around the world approach well-being.
Okay.
For example, one source highlighted Hygge, a Danish concept that emphasizes cozy contentment.
Hygge.
Yeah, it's about creating an environment that feels safe, warm, and inviting.
Hygge. It sounds so, Hygge, like something you'd experience curled up by a fireplace with a good book and a cup of tea.
Right.
But how does that tie into calmness and positivity?
Well, think about it. When you feel comfortable and secure in your surroundings,
Right.
your body and mind naturally relax.
Uh-huh.
Hygge is about intentionally creating those conditions that foster a sense of peace and well-being.
So it's about more than just feeling cozy.
Exactly.
So it's about creating a physical space that supports a calmer state of mind. I love that.
Yeah.
What other cultural perspectives did the sources mention?
One that stood out was Ubuntu, a philosophy from Southern Africa.
Ubuntu.
It emphasizes interconnectedness and the belief that our well-being is tied to the well-being of others.
Ubuntu, it reminds me of that saying, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Like, we're all in this together.
Right.
But how does this philosophy connect with the scientific findings we discussed earlier about calmness and positivity?
Well, Research shows that social connection and a sense of belonging are crucial for well-being.
Okay.
When we feel connected to others, supported and loved,
Right.
our stress levels decrease and our overall sense of well-being increases.
Yeah.
Ubuntu embodies this principle, reminding us that our happiness is intertwined with the happiness of those around us.
It's a beautiful concept. It's like we're weaving together these different threads, scientific findings, practical techniques, and ancient wisdom to create this richer tapestry of understanding about how to cultivate calm and positivity.
Absolutely. And these cultural perspectives remind us that calmness and positivity aren't just about individual practices.
Right.
They're about creating a culture of kindness, compassion, and support.
It's like taking all those tools we talked about, meditation, gratitude, even cold showers,
Yeah.
and applying them to our relationships and communities as well, creating a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect segue into the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've explored individual techniques and cultural perspectives,
Right.
but now it's time to zoom out and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
How can we apply these principles to create a world that's more calm and positive,
Right.
not just for ourselves, but for everyone?
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, haven't we?
We-
We've explored like the science of the calm brain and all these practical techniques for cultivating calmness and positivity. And we've even like gained insights from all these different cultures all around the world.
That's quite a journey.
Yeah, it feels like we've built like this incredible toolkit
Yeah,
for creating a more fulfilling life.
it is. It is.
But now I'm curious, like, where do we go from here?
Right.
How can we take all this and create a world that's more calm and positive, not just for ourselves, but like for everyone?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And I think it challenges us to expand our definition of calmness and positivity.
Okay.
You know, it's not just about individual states of mind,
Right.
but about creating systems and structures that support well-being on a collective level.
So we're talking about things like access to healthcare, education, social justice, environmental sustainability,
at that.
like those big systemic issues that impact everyone's well-being.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our individual well-being is interconnected
Yeah.
with the well-being of our communities
Right.
and the planet as a whole.
Yeah.
If we want to create a world that's more calm and positive, we need to address these larger issues,
Right.
not just focus on individual self-improvement.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's like we're all part of this giant ecosystem.
We are.
If one part of the system is struggling, it impacts the whole.
Absolutely.
So it's not enough to just meditate and practice gratitude.
Right.
We also need to be active citizens, advocate for change, support initiatives that promote well-being on a larger scale.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that our actions, both big and small, have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
When we choose kindness, stand up for what's right, contribute to making the world a better place,
Yeah.
we're not just helping others, we're cultivating calmness and positivity
Yeah.
within ourselves.
It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly.
But instead of just being like a catchy quote, it becomes like a call to action, a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a more calm and positive future. You know, one thing that keeps coming back to me from these sources is this idea of managing digital overload.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like our devices and like the constant connectivity can really undermine our efforts to cultivate calm.
That's a crucial point. If we think about creating a calmer, more positive world,
Yeah.
we can't ignore the impact of the digital landscape.
Right.
What if we applied the same principles of mindfulness and intention to our digital lives?
That's such an interesting thought.
Isn't it?
So we're talking about designing our digital experiences to be more mindful,
Yeah.
more intentional, more focused on connection and well-being.
Exactly. Imagine social media platforms that prioritize kindness over negativity,
Right.
apps that encourage digital well-being instead of addiction, online communities that foster genuine connection and support.
Yeah,
It's a vision worth striving for, wouldn't you say?
absolutely. It's about taking all the tools and techniques we've learned in this deep dive and applying them to the digital world, creating a digital world that's less chaotic, less overwhelming,
Yeah,
and more aligned with our values. I mean, it's a big challenge, but I think it's essential
I agree.
if we truly want to create a more calm and positive future.
It starts with each of us making conscious choices about how we engage with technology.
Right.
Setting boundaries, prioritizing real-world connections, using technology to enhance our lives rather than distract from them.
Right.
It's about reclaiming our power and shaping technology to serve our well-being instead of the other way around.
Well, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
We have.
We've gone from the inner workings of the brain
Right.
to global issues.
Yeah.
And even explored the potential for creating a more mindful digital world. It's been quite a journey.
It has.
But remember, this is just the beginning.
That's right.
The real journey starts now as you take these ideas and weave them into your own life.
Yes, experiment with different techniques. Find what resonates with you.
Right?
Keep learning and growing.
Exactly. This isn't about becoming like a calmness and positivity guru overnight.
Right.
It's about making small, consistent changes that over time can transform your life and ripple outwards to create a more positive world. So keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep believing in the power of calmness and positivity
I love it.
to create a brighter future. And who knows, maybe this is just the first step in a lifelong journey of creating a world that's a little bit calmer, a little bit kinder, and a lot more positive. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.